Hey, Curious Connerys. Dylan here. We just want to give you a heads up that the following program contains conversation relating to topics that may or may not include physical and sexual assault and self-harm and mistreatment of different cultures. We are in no way condoning these things. But given that Sean Connery has acted in films going back many years, they've tended to come up. To spin a phrase from Disney, many of these films include negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures that were certainly wrong then and are definitely wrong now. But rather than not discuss this content, we'd like to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and create conversation for a richer future. Stay curious, folks. And now, on to our show.
Connery Curious! Saga! Last Crusade! You'll live twice! And the Anderson tapes! Murder on the Orient Express! You never know what the wheel's gonna spin next! Marty and a woman of straw! An older man in Africa! We are curious of the filmography of Sacha Connery.
So yeah, I'm like looking at the Game Awards tonight, and so Daniel Craig with Ryan Johnson. So they tweeted out like,
For a Glass Onion game.
well, they didn't confirm it was a game. They're like, oh, they're going to be there for more. Cause it's usually kind of unusual to have like movie people there, especially like I know they're gonna have Pedro Pascal there because he's doing Last of Us show on HBO.
Oh, yes.
So, but yeah, it'd be cool if they did like a Knives Out game.
Yeah, what would it be, like L.A. Noire, kind of?
Maybe, maybe, or they could do. I don't know if you ever played the Hitman games.
No, I haven't. But aren't those action-based?
Yeah, so like, they're kind of sneaky spy stuff, which is actually side note. The developer of Hitman are the guys working on Project
On the new
007
Bond game, yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to that.
So man, there's no news on that yet. I'm really waiting for news on that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that as well. I saw the little mini trailer that they put out.
They just put out. I have them on Twitter, and I have like the notification. As soon as they tweet, it'll notify me. And they tweeted that they were looking for like, producers and stuff, and like background people. I'm like, if you guys need help with Bond lore, like storyboard.
Wait, I'm sorry. They said they needed help.
They needed like
there was a job posting.
Yeah, like a bunch of job postings. Like it's more like it's like technical based and like some other like background management stuff, and it looked like some storyboarding stuff. I'm like, I would love to like work on it because they're going on an original Bond story. It's not based on any actor, no like past story, so they can do anything they want. And like I'm curious if it's like Hitman. Like I feel like as a Bond fan, I feel like you'd enjoy Hitman because very like you're entering a party and you're like in disguise and you have to kind of walk around listening to conversations, all that stuff. So it makes total sense that they're making a Bond game. So I think that's really interesting. So
maybe I'll give one of them a try. I'll do some research, see which the best one is.
I would do the latest one that came out. I would do that one.
Yeah,
because that one's really good.
And it would probably be an indication of what the Bond game might be like.
Yeah. And also, side note, we are on Twitter, by the way. I just sent you the link. So I got
Connery Curious.
Yeah, so I got to put. I just put some like some images there for now, and like a placeholder, and we'll finish up stuff like that afterwards. Designs.
Yes, we are currently in the process of assembling our social media stuff and assembling our extra media stuff that is all comes tandem with any podcast that you folks might listen to at home.
Oh yes.
How's everybody doing today? Respond back to us. Do it right now.
I just got a telegram in. Jonathan from Oklahoma says doing okay.
Oh, okay. Well, is it to tie in today's movie, which I still have up and playing in the VLC player here, playing the DVD, but I have it paused on the credits as they go by. Would that Jonathan that you received the telegram from, would that be Jonathan Cake, who played Sir Gareth?
Possibly.
Jonathan Cake, step on up and get your prize. Your prize is a lifetime supply of pie. That laugh was amazing. And I'm going to sample that forever.
Good.
Welcome, everybody, to Connery Curious. My name is Dylan Titus.
And I'm Mario Lima.
And this is episode 2. And technically it's our 3rd episode, but we'll abandon that as we go forward.
It's felt like a lifetime, but I'm excited.
And a long time coming.
Exactly.
I'm at a stop sign waiting. This is our 2nd episode, and the film we are discussing today is 1995's medieval film First Night.
So excited! This is
starring.
I'm so glad we got to do this early.
This is a good one. I had never seen this before. You said you had seen this?
Yeah, it was like my mother introduced me to this, and I actually mentioned to her the other day. I'm like, "Hey, Ma, we're watching First Night this week," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I gotta rewatch it." And I haven't seen it in at least 10 years, at least, maybe more. And yeah, I had a great time.
Same. Now let me give the Wikipedia summation here. It stars Sean Connery as King Arthur, Richard Gere as Lancelot, Julia Ormand as Guinevere, and Ben Cross as Maligant. The film follows the rogue Lancelot's romance with Lady Guinevere of Lyonesse, who is to marry King Arthur of Camelot, while the land is threatened by the renegade knight Maligant. The film is noteworthy within Arthurian cinema for its absence of magical elements. It's drawing on the material of Chrétien de Troyes, I'm butchering that, I'm sure, for plot elements and the substantial age difference between Arthur and Guinevere. Now, that's just reading the first paragraph on Wikipedia. But yeah, just to give everyone at home who may or may not have seen it a little summation of the plot. It is the King Arthur. It is a tale of King Arthur, not the origin story, but maybe the ending story. Yeah. I just finished this movie.
Same here. I just finished about half hour ago here. So we're pretty fresh going into this. But let's get your thoughts first. This is your first time ever seeing it, so I want to hear
my first time. I had a great time with this movie. This was a real good time. I will work on rating it later, but yeah, I had, to be honest, I've never seen, I don't think, any film with Richard Gere.
Really?
Okay. And he is delightful. And
so charming.
I've never seen any film with Julia Ormand, and she is delightful. Actually, wait, hold on. Let me click on her Wikipedia page to see if maybe I have seen something with her. She's in The Walking Dead. No. No, I haven't seen.
And she's in Walking Dead recently, actually, too, I believe.
Yes, I've never heard of any other one of these films. Law and Order, Mad Men, CSI New York. Yeah, no, I haven't seen her in anything. Anyway, and Ben Cross, where do I know that he was delightful? Ben Cross was absolutely delightful as the villain Maligant. This was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed this. I had a great time. I don't know what else I can say without getting too much into the weeds of it. How about you?
Yeah, so again,
what's your history with the film? When did you see it?
So this film was 95. I think the first time I saw it was pretty kind of fresh. I think probably early 2001, so it was like only a few years old at that point. We had the VHS. I just remember that being on the shelf at Blockbuster. Kids remember Blockbuster? Those were good times.
Yes.
And I just remember as a young kid, because recently, around that time was when I started getting into Bond. We always come back to Bond on the show. So seeing him,
we're gonna have to.
My mother was like, "Oh, you should know him. That's James Bond." And I'm like, "Wow, he looks very old." So we rented it, and I was like,
very old in this.
Yeah, and like I would say the quintessential Connery, if anything. Like that's just like everything from like the accent we imitate to like just his look. I'm like, this is Connery. This is like the golden age of Connery.
This is Connery.
Go to Camelot.
You know what I just realized? He was 33. He was born in 29. He was 33 when he did Dr. No. And then you cut to 33 years later, 1962 to 33 years later is 1995.
Wow.
Wow. So this was at the folding point of his James Bond career. You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy to think that he was 33 in Dr. No. It gives me a little bit of hope. I have 2 more
Same.
years to become
Same.
James Bond.
Yes, I always tell myself that things like that. Connery wasn't, and Harrison Ford wasn't Han Solo till he was 33. So
yes, man, it seems that way.
and my father didn't have me till he was 32. So
there you go.
Things I try to keep in mind. We can't all accomplish greatness. So I'm just kidding.
You never know. This is an inspirational podcast, as you say.
Yes, I'm quite the inspirational fellow. I've been known to. That's why Mario and I we communicate through video chat for 2 hours once a week, and that's it. He's like keeps me at arm's length because I'm so fucking inspirational.
After this, we don't talk. We only talk about Bond.
He comes upstairs, and Alicia's just like, "How's the podcast?" He goes.
He won't shut up about Sean Connery.
I need a shower. He's so demotivational.
Oh man.
Anyway,
we're getting back into. I'll give you guys some stats here. We'll go to the good old Rotten Tomatoes. A bit lower than expected. Tomato meter at 43%, with an audience score of 54%.
Really?
Which is
low.
It's interesting. I wonder. I'm not sure. I'm gonna find some actual reviews here. Let's see.
And also, forgive me on this end. I'm just looking at the Wheel of Curiosities just to make sure that First Night has gone away, and The Man Who Would Be King has gone away. Good, excellent.
Wow,
It is updating in time. It doesn't show us that we've watched them, but it. Anyway, okay. Sorry, again, riveting podcasting.
But I'll give you this though. So I'm looking at there's a couple nice comments here of
Yeah, give us a review.
Aside from casting Richard Gere as Lancelot, First Night marches out as an agreeably intelligent, mature, and well-mounted telling of the legendary King Arthur story. That's nice. And we got some more negative stuff. This one made me laugh. Just simply Excalibur.
Ooh, burn.
That's snore, right?
I'm going to. The site's consensus on this is on Wikipedia saying of Rotten Tomatoes: the unimaginative reimagining of Arthurian legend dispenses with the magic without achieving a convincing realism in the bargain, suffering from a fatal miscasting and a lack of romance. Roger Ebert gave the film 2 stars in his review, citing Connery and his performance along with the sets, but stating that it paled in comparison to other medieval films released the same time, such as Rob Roy and Braveheart, released the same year. Calling it thin and unconvincing. I haven't seen Rob Roy or Braveheart, so I can't say that comparison holds up. But I can understand how it would be seen as thin. But I'd say the romance is there. It's not passionate, hot and wet romance, but it's there. I'd say maybe I saw it. It was. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I think I wonder. I lost the page now, but when were these comments given?
I'm guessing at the time.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we're in a different world nowadays. I think we compare a lot of things. Look, we have nowadays Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, stuff like that.
This is very quaint in comparison to this.
Which, by the way, I got to give,
Game of Thrones.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, young Liam Cunningham in this film.
Yes. I thought that's who that was.
Yeah, looking at him, I was kind of I've seen that face before.
Yes,
behind the beard, maybe. And then I look down at the IMDb. I'm like, there he is. So
there was, Ralph Ineson as Ralph. He was also in Game of Thrones.
That's right. Yes.
As Dagmere Cleftjaw. I don't know who that is, but more importantly, he was the father in The Witch.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, which that is one of my favorite films. Yes, forgive the distraction there. Hold on. Just putting my phone on Do Not Disturb.
There we go. But yeah, but looking
Again,
at
riveting podcasting.
fine, but yeah, you would think maybe half of these guys, if they were alive today, could be Game of Thrones players. Like imagine Connery himself in Game of Thrones would be completely riveting because like his performance here. Let's talk about that. What did you think of Connery's performance here?
Oh, do we want to get into ranking it first?
Why not?
Okay.
Let's go into that.
Well, then, you know what? Let me pull up the ranking sheet. I will go to First Night. Say we watch that one. Okay. All right. So my ranking of Connery in this film.
Why?
I'm gonna go. Wow, we're doing this early. We're not breaking any traditions yet because we haven't said any. Connery in this film, I'm going.
Ooh, it's a tense
Torn
one.
between a 9 and a 9.5.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. That last word there. Why? Why? Do you know to what I refer?
Yes. Just fantastic.
I will drop that in as a sample.
Almost as iconic as the Darth Vader. No.
Yes.
Just
well, I think this is better.
Way better.
In fact, I think I may take Connery saying "why" and put it into that scene.
Yes.
So you know what? I'm gonna go 9. I'm going 9. How about you? What do you give?
I'm going to agree with you. Also 9. Just
all right. We're in harmony.
Because again, it's like because now that I think about it, I was a younger man watching this movie. So now that I've kind of matured in my movie going experiences, I come to appreciate it more. And
now I've had sex now, so I can appreciate.
I've had sex, so I can appreciate Sean Connery more. So this is how it feels. It's like
snuggly, cozy and warm.
Yeah, he's just
sweet lady Guinevere. She's so fantastic. Julia Ormand is fantastic.
Yeah, she was really good.
You know what? I think we can't start talking about how good the actors are in it without getting into the plot. Do we want to just jump into the plot?
I think we hit him with the plot. We got the appetizers.
Spoiler free. Not spoiler free. Excuse me.
Spoiler filled.
Spoiler filled. Excuse me. Also, what did you say? I spoke over you. I apologize.
I actually forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, forgive me. Anyway, so let's get right into it. We'll get back to what thoughts will come back to us.
Yeah, let's hit him with the plot.
My first, maybe not the plot. Excuse me. Well, you know what? Why not? We're figuring this out as we go, folks.
We can touch upon it because I feel like it's we'll also mention it's a 2-hour film, 2 hour 13 minutes.
Yes.
So not a ton of stuff because Man Who Would Be King, that's about 2 hours
about
and
the same
a half,
length, yeah.
I think, maybe 20 minutes at the end there. So I feel like a little less more to like go into detail here. It's a pretty straightforward. A little less more. I don't know.
There's no Roger Moore in this movie, Sean.
Not yet. Oh, imagine Roger Moore as King Arthur. That'd be fun.
It's not hard to imagine.
Why?
Why wouldn't I be? A woman. Yeah, both of these have been long films. They're epics. These are both epics. So I'm going to start with my notes. Also, something I just thought of. This is a film directed by Jerry Zucker. You may know that name. I know that name at least from directing Airplane and the Naked Gun film.
Yes.
And Scary Movie 3. This guy is, and he did Top Secret, which I've never seen. But this guy does slapstick, spoof, intelligent comedy, but it's still goofy as all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of dumb, but it's intelligently dumb. You know what I mean? Like The Naked Gun is all dumb jokes, but they're also very smart jokes. You know what I mean? Like it takes a very genius, clever mind to come up with that dumb concept.
Yes.
But also, this film has none of the humor of that, which is fine. I didn't go in expecting any kind of. I didn't go in expecting Robin Hood Men in Tights. But I did not expect the brutal opening that was this film of just burning people alive and just murder while the credits go over it. Also, okay, first shot of the movie is a big caravan of people on horseback from a distance. And just like Star Wars, blocks of text scroll upwards. They're not on an angle like Star Wars, but they're scrolling upwards, and we get. It's pretty slow, and it's not John Williams music to rouse you to this movie. That Star Wars theme gets you pumped for that movie, even if it's Rise of Skywalker. You're still pumped for it.
Exactly.
That music, you hear it, and you're like, oh boy. Except they didn't use the 20th Century Fox fanfare, so it's lessened. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but the text scrolling through was very
very fairy tale
very. I think we could have gone without it. I think we definitely could have just jumped into the movie not knowing any of that, and it would have served us all very well. And also, Star Wars always does 3 paragraphs, so as soon as this one did a 4th, I'm like, all right, movie, you're overstaying your welcome here. You didn't bring the cornbread you brought to the party. It wasn't very good, and now you're leaving it here. But as the credits roll after that, there is just a brutal opening as Maligan's gang just slaughters people and sets the town on fire, and while people are locked in buildings. Boy, that is brutal.
Oh, we do. We can go back a little bit. We do get the very early introduction of Richard Gere.
Yes, as Lancelot. Yes, I forgot that comes before it. And let's go to Wikipedia. Lancelot, a vagabond and skilled swordsman, duels in small villages for money. He attributes his skill to his lack of concern whether he lives or dies. So he's in the town. He's given a display. That was really fun.
Yeah, just like I love that line he delivers of when he fights that last guy, and he's like, "How'd you do that? I want to learn," and he just says, you have to just know your last move, and like the line that grabs you is, "You can't be afraid to die." And you're like, wow, this guy is our hero. Like, this is so cool, and he delivers, man. Like, so you imagine you never really seen a Richard Gere film?
No, but my next note is Richard Gere heart.
Yeah, because
then I write, but scum? Question mark.
A little bit of scum.
He's a little scummy.
A little bit, but he's just like he's just, I don't know what to compare him to.
Very Anakin Skywalker vibes from him.
Yeah,
it feels very Anakin Skywalker.
I can see that.
And he's very talented, and he doesn't really have a way. Like that would have been a better setup for Anakin Skywalker as that kind of character. He's already grown, and that's why he's too old to be in the Jedi Order. Sorry, I'm comparing it to Star Wars now because of those damn paragraphs.
No, that definitely makes sense. Yeah,
Star Wars pulls from Arthurian legend. Star Wars pulls from all of this.
Yeah,
stuff.
Knights of the Round Table, Jedi Council.
Yeah.
It's like we've put you in a council. What up? We have not given you rank of Jedi Master.
We do not grant you the rank of Master.
Yes.
And also, he's playing Yoda too. Do or do not. There is no try. Oh God, that guy! I gotta cut that. Oh man.
Nope, stinging.
No, God. Oh, that was terrible. Oh man.
Judge me by my size, do you?
You just did it straight. I made the mistake of trying to add Frank Oz.
It's hard to do Frank Oz and Connery. There's such different sides of this voice spectrum.
Well, it kind of just sounded like a caricature of an Indian person. That's when I did it. Forgive me. Oh
man, I can't unsee Connery's Yoda now.
I said caricature. I meant that. I don't mean realism.
Exactly.
But yes, Connery has all the Jedi. He's Yarrow Poof. His head is on the long guitar neck.
I think you're all proof. I only see him as
The
the
robot
robot
chicken.
chicken one. Yeah.
They're always sending me to get pizza. Bloody bastards, don't even eat it.
I bought the coffee yesterday. Yet to be reimbursed. Yaddle, I'm about to borrow your car. In the shop it is.
In the shop it is.
It's him. He's playing.
He's also Yaddle.
He's also the younglings. It's like, Master Skywalker. There's too many of them.
What are we going to do?
Oh man.
Let's have for any listeners out there that are capable of a good deep fake. Can we deep fake Sean Connery? Let's start deep faking him into things, okay?
Yes.
I'll do what I can by taking him going, "Why?" and putting that over Darth Vader going, "No," and just changing the audio, and I'll layer it up. I'll do the sound real nice, like so it sounds like it's how it is in the movie, you know? Like I'll mute the whole thing and then like do the sounds over, Foley work it, and have the score in there because you know how they must have filmed it. It was completely silent.
Oh,
You know they're not using any of the clunky on-set audio of just the
should've.
plastic suit just shaking as it hits the floor.
Perfect.
All right, now just I can't bend backwards in this. I just went from it being James Earl Jones in the suit to it being Sean Connery. I can't bend backwards in this suit. You expect me to look up at the sky and yell no? That will cost you more.
Do you expect me to use the Force? No, Master Vader. I expect you to die.
Six films, but they didn't ask Roger Moore to use the Force.
This never happened to the other guy.
This never happened to the other Jedi.
So, anyways, Lancelot.
Lancelot.
Total badass. He's like,
Okay. Yes, great. I
disarming
loved
people
his
with like
introduction, and I've no, yeah. Go. I'm sorry.
just
continue.
him just disarming people and it's just being like a total badass. We're like, okay, we're establishing this character as like, yep, this dude's like an awesome swordsman. That's the last like sentence in the 4-paragraph essay. It's like he's really good with his sword, you know.
Yeah.
So and then we'll show you how
That's
good
how
he
he makes
is.
his living.
Yeah. So I thought that was really
Exactly. Yes, you could have just shown us the entire time.
yeah.
Yes, I fell in love with him though from the intro. He's very charming. It's a real shame he's not in more stuff. I'm gonna go to his Wikipedia page real quick.
From what I've seen for Richard Gere films, I think this is definitely a little bit of a departure. I think from other things, from what I've seen, anyways. You know, audience, you guys can quote me on that and find something better. But yeah, just interesting. I'm trying. I want to see how old he was at this point.
He's 73. I was literally just looking that up.
Really?
I was thinking that as well because he's in fantastic shape, but he's in wicked dad shape. So he was born in 49, and this would have filmed in 94. So he's 45.
45 years old. Jeez.
Yeah, he's in great shape.
Man. And let's for funsies, let's look back at Sean Connery. What was he doing at the age 45? Was he still Bond, or was it after just after Bond?
So 45. So he was born in 30. So we're going with. Oh no, I'm sorry. So he would have been 32 when he'd filmed Dr. No.
Okay.
So it wasn't the exact halfway point. Forgive me.
So I only have a year left to be Bond. Damn it.
I've got the Connery Curious page here. I can just look at. Okay, so he born in 30, so 45 would have been 75, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so he did The Dream Factory, The Wind and the Lion, and our last film, The Man Who Would Be King.
Ah, okay.
Look at that. Look at that.
So I could see
Things are tying together.
I could see Connery at 45 playing Lancelot as well. I think that'd be just as effective, if not more effective.
Which really is what we did see because, so in this movie, Richard Gere rides around on a horse and slaughters people, while Sean Connery waits back because he is the man in charge, the man who would be king.
What a parallel.
And,
holy shit.
And go back to the man who would be king. He's on a horse slaughtering people
Wow.
while somebody else waits back.
What?
So
Wow.
you know what I think we should do? I think we should take every film, because we're going to watch them in no set order. It's completely random. I think we should take every film, find a way to tie it into the one before it, and thus the ones before it, and then create a Sean Connery cinematic universe. And I think we should make this, like, craft a journey of this character of Sean Connery through these movies. You know, because as a young man, he rode a horse into battle and slaughtered people, but now as an old man, he gives the charge while the younger man slaughters in battle on a horseback.
Yes, I like that. Wow.
Yeah, this might be convoluted. This might be the edibles talking, but
Hey, you know what? It'll sound even better in post.
And post.
Post, yes.
So where are we at from there? Okay, so we meet Lancelot, and we get into we just seeing how damn charming he is, and he inspires the citizens to kind of fight for themselves a bit through his charm. And then we get the opening credits set to Malagant burning that town. This is after Lancelot has departed, and he's kind of just chilling in the woods with his horse.
Yes.
Having made some money. So that is absolutely brutal. Also, 20 minutes in, we get 2 battles within 20 minutes. Then they're really good battles, but I think that was too many battles. Again, I think the burning of the village could have been cut. Only just so that the opening action scene is the horse cart chase. But that's me.
Well, I mean,
that would have been. Sorry.
I mean, the fire is.
It's setting up Richard Gere's character
and Malagant. Like, you're getting your great Malagant. Like when they open the gates and you have a guy in the barn, Malagant. You know, it's like that's your big, like, Vader stepping into the the carrier. You know, like with the stormtroopers behind him. Like, that's like an iconic moment.
Where it fails in that is that in Star Wars, nobody looked up and said Vader.
True.
When he stepped in the first, because he was just in the first movie, he kind of was just a lackey.
Yeah,
he was just a really intimidating dude serving a purpose of being the intimidating dude.
True.
Wasn't this character we've attributed all this fate to?
But yeah.
This is a Star Wars podcast. Also, I will have another note relating to Star Wars towards the end of the podcast.
Ooh, there we go. But yeah, so I like that. But have Malagant enter there. But now thinking about it, you could also have it where, like, Malagant is just mentioned, and his intro would be what we see later in the film of him coming in. King Arthur invites him over to chat, and that's your introduction. Yes. So the doors open, and there's Ben Cross, and you're like, holy shit, here we go. But I understand why they did what they did at the end.
I think, well, because Lyonesse is attacked. And I think that's when they open the church and all the people have been locked inside. I think that's when you show the town being attacked. You just put that scene over there. Because I don't think you needed the scene where the villagers come up and, Lady Guinevere, we need to... Because nothing is accomplished in that. She just said, oh yeah, we'll fight them, don't worry. You know what I mean? She's pulled away from her kickball game, which ties into, the last film where we saw people on horseback kicking a head around. These people are kicking a very large ball while they're holding sticks behind them.
When I first saw that scene, I'm like, oh wow, what a way to carry over Daniel's in that potato sack. They're playing with his head now. Right. Perfect. What a crossover. Yeah, so the introduction to Guinevere.
Yes. It got a very big head, too.
yeah.
That ball was massive.
It swelled up a bit, yes.
And that's when we meet Julia Ormand as Lady Guinevere. And she's fantastic in this, I thought. She is... Let's go. Guinevere, the young ruler of Lyonesse, decides to... Lyonesse? It's spelled differently. Lyonesse is a kingdom which, according to legend, consisted of a long strand of land stretching from Land's End at the southwest tip of Cornwall, England, to what is now the Isles of Sicily in the Celtic Sea portion of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. I don't remember if they call it Lyonesse or Lioness. I'll put it in the audio.
I think it was Lyonesse.
Anyway, Guinevere, the young ruler of Lyonesse, decides to marry King Arthur out of admiration and for security against Malagant, who has been raiding local villages under the guise of upholding the law. While traveling, Lancelot chances by Guinevere's carriage on the way to Camelot and spoils Malagant's ambush meant to kidnap her. He falls in love with her, but she refuses his advances. Though Lancelot urges her to follow her heart, she remains bound by duty and is subsequently reunited with her escort. Not her hooker, but so I'm just gonna be following the Wikipedia plot because it sums up nicely and lets us kind of stay on some kind of track.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that cart chase may have been my favorite part of the movie.
Really?
Yes, where she is. She has to throw her two friends out of the cart so they stay safe. But holy cow, that is so dangerous.
Yeah.
And one of them came so close. The first one that gets thrown out came so close to hitting a tree.
Yeah. That was almost.
Wow. The stunts. And then when the guy breaks in through the roof and she tosses him out the side, wow, that was really fun. Really fun. Yeah. And when Richard Gere comes in to save the day, you get a look on her eyes that she loves him. She likes this guy pretty instantly.
Who wouldn't? I mean, come on now.
I know, he's dashing.
He's super charming.
Which leads me to my next note. Rape trick. So she is being basically held. I like they have guns in this. Little like slingshot arrow like pistols. They're like pistols that hold an arrow.
It reminded me of the live action Flintstones movie. They had those. They had there was a scene where like at the end, not to spoil the live action Flintstones movie.
First one?
Yeah, well, John Goodman. I think that's around this time too. I think.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, so I wonder if who inspired
something
who.
in the water.
Yeah, it's like it.
And it was in Van Helsing too.
Yeah.
Like the crossbow that shot arrows. That one shot like 9,000 arrows, but this one shoots one. I remember seeing the first Flintstones movie.
Yeah, it was that one.
I think I saw Viva Rock Vegas.
Yeah, the first one's better, but like there's a scene at the end where the gentleman that takes over for Mr. Slate at the quarry like holds Flintstone to like gunpoint with this like
oh my God.
It's a slingshot gun. It's the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
I gotta find that prop on eBay. I would totally buy it.
I need to watch these movies.
You got it. That's our next podcast. Yeah. Flintstones Curious. Goodman Curious.
Finding Flintstones.
Finding Flintstones.
Like Finding Forrester.
Oh yes.
So someone, one of Malagant's men has her at, we'll call it gunpoint, and she has also got one of these guns in her hand that she picked up, but no one can see it. No, she's kind of keeping it out of sight because this guy has her at gunpoint and is threatening Richard Gere. He doesn't see that she has this gun in front of her, and it's very clever. But it's kind of that's when I wrote the note "butt scum?" next to the Richard Gere heart butt scum.
It is a little weird. It's like,
but it's clever as can be.
Yeah.
But it's so weird. It's so weird.
It's like.
So he basically says, "Okay, dude, let's rape her together right now. What do you say? You hold her for me, I'll hold her for you. You go first, okay? Isn't she pretty? Look at how hot she is. Turn her around and see what she has for you." Like she's gonna, go to town on him right there. And it's very clever because she turns around and just shoots him. Though I don't think shooting him in the dick would kill him. She does shoot him in the dick, I think. It's groin-esque, but it's a very clever way to take somebody out, but it's also like, boy, that is dark and unpleasant.
It was very Kylo Ren Han Solo Force Awakens, or just kind of
what?
Remember
when Han Solo is threatening to, or wait, who's who in that situation?
I think guess Kylo Ren would be Guinevere, I guess. I don't know. I'm just saying the lightsaber through the chest.
And Han just starts talking about, look at how he's yelling to Chewie. He's like, look at how tender Kylo Ren's lips are. I bet he's got something for you.
Translation. Let's do this together.
Yeah, you hold him for me, I'll hold him for you.
R2-D2's there for some reason, like just bouncing around.
Woo! All his fireworks are going off, like in Revenge of the Sith. We're just tying this into Star Wars constantly.
Yes, this is perfect.
This is gonna first Jedi night.
First Jedi. Yes, I like it.
Also, do you like my homemade pop filter of it's a metal wire hanger and pantyhose.
I was wondering. I didn't want to ask, but I was like, "That's an interesting pop filter." I wonder.
Yeah, why not?
It works.
They were being thrown away. They weren't covered in crap. So
even if it was covered in crap, it's still pretty good. It's for the sake of the audio quality.
Doesn't smell like it's covered in crap. All right, so rape trick, and after rape trick.
Fell for the old rape trick again.
Like everyone on To Catch a Predator. Like, why don't you have a seat over there? Fell for the old rape trick again.
It would seem Daniel fell for the old rape trick again.
Or it's like an Arrested Development. Ron Howard says it. Like, it seems like the henchman fell for the old rape trick. The ukulele is playing over it. The cartoon orange arrow is drawn at Richard Gere.
Oh man.
So after the rape trick, we get maybe. That's literally the note I have. Like, where is it?
Rape trick. Oh man.
So after the rape trick, we get my favorite moment in the film. Like, my one favorite individual thing that happens in the whole movie is Richard Gere jumping on a horse.
Mm.
The way he does it is so fucking cool. And I was watching a Q&A video with a doctor who has a YouTube channel, and one of his subscribers asked, "Can somebody break their penis?" And he's like, "Yes, kind of, and this is how it happens, and a lot of Hollywood actors that ride horses break their penis from jumping on horses." And as soon as I saw him do that, that's all I could think about was, oh my God, that looks so cool, and his penis must be broken.
How do you break your penis? I mean,
Well,
we're getting into deep stuff here.
I don't want to get into it, or else I'll pass out on this podcast. It'll be a pass cast.
Well, if you guys want to know how to break your penis, let us know on Twitter.
Well, go to James Gill's YouTube page, Dr. James Gill.
There you go.
Promote that. Oh yeah. Also, we were on the subject of Richard Gere. I don't think he's been in a lot of films because of his support of the Tibetan government.
Really?
Yeah. So he's stayed working for sure. He's consistently done 1 to 2 films a year.
Yeah, now you say it, I can't think of like a gigantic. The one film I always went back to was I think it was Shall We Dance. It was like him and Jennifer Lopez, and that's a good movie. I rewatched it recently.
Oh yeah, and Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, that one's a pretty good movie. So
the remake of the Japanese film of the same name.
Yes.
Now the following year he was in Primal Fear. Following First Night in 1996, he was in Primal Fear, which I have a DVD copy of, which I got at the library book sale recently. It was in a 3-pack with Italian Job, which we talked about on the last podcast. Look at how everything is tying together.
The original Italian Job?
No, the remake.
Okay.
Or sequel or whatever it is. I don't know. The Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron one, and the score with De Niro and Ed Norton. So Primal Fear was the third movie in that trilogy. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. Yeah, I'm looking through his.
What year was Chicago? That was a big one.
2002.
Okay.
Oh, he did 3 films that year: Mothman Prophecies, Unfaithful, and Chicago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a busy summer, I guess. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just looking through his movies. I'm Not There. Oh, I want to watch I'm Not There, where a bunch of people play Bob Dylan. Oh, Brooklyn's Finest. I've seen Brooklyn's Finest. Yes. I don't remember it, but I've seen it. The Double. No, that's not the same. The Double. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen many of his films. He hasn't been on much television. He is a strictly movie actor. Yeah. I mean, he does theater, but... Forgive me, as I'm just reading Richard Gere's Wikipedia page. Again, riveting podcasting. But he seems like an interesting character that I'd like to read more about. But yeah, it seems like his support of Tibet has kept him from getting these bigger movie roles. It seems like he would have done something. Like he would be in, not to sound reductive, but I feel like he would have been cast in something like the MCU.
Yeah.
At this point. But those films have to appeal to Chinese audiences, correct? You know, and China doesn't support Tibet. I don't. These are political aspects I don't really need to get into. But I'm just always curious why Richard Gere wasn't bigger, especially when I'm watching this movie and he's very charismatic, and except for when he just straight up kisses her without asking. I didn't expect him to make the first move, but the movie kind of sets it up that okay, she likes him. Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm reading it wrong?
No, I think you're right. No, you're right.
I'm also bouncing all over the place. Forgive me.
Oh yeah, no. But yeah, that is a weird thing with the first kiss. But I do like that after the gauntlet where he wins.
Oh, the gauntlet,
and then he's like, still he's like, yeah, I'm gonna ask you, do you want to kiss? And she says no thanks. He says, all right, cool. I'm gonna kiss her hand. No.
The gauntlet. That was. I got that as a note. The gauntlet in big exclamation, capital letters with exclamation points.
The craftsmanship on that was just like
that was fantastic.
You got the guys with the swords like under there, and like the mechanicalness of like it was like American Ninja Warrior.
I was just about to say American Ninja Warrior, so cool. Arthurian Ninja Warrior.
Yes, it was so cool, and like. We gotta mention like just the
ninja with a K.
Ninja, ye old ninja warrior. But yeah, like shout out to like the production value in this film. Like
yes, the production design is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just really fantastic. A couple of like obvious green screen shots of like it's like when I was a boy I walked up this hill to see my city would be mine, and like you see the city, it's like it looks like the painting from Spy Who Loved Me of Roger Moore on the Rock.
But it's not bad. It's not bad though.
Not bad for 95.
Granted, I was watching it on DVD, so the quality is it's DVD quality.
Yeah,
but I thought that the production design, as I said, was gorgeous, but not flashy. None of it was extravagant.
Yeah, a lot of grays and whatnot.
It was all real.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to be woke, or it was real, dude. It was just plain.
Well, going back
to like... It didn't feel like we need to be flashy, because there's no magic.
Yeah, and like going back to like Game of Thrones again, where that's the one thing that bothers me about those shows, are like you're going too dark. I understand your art style of like you want it to be dark, but there's literally battle scenes I can't see because it's so dark.
Yes. Well, hold on, I've got a note on that.
Ooh, okay.
The night camp battle.
The
wave of horses in the dark looks
awesome because, and you can't see it well, but that's the point, because you're seeing it from Maligant's army's perspective. They came into a camp which had some light in it with the fires, and they knocked all the fires over in an attempt to like burn the camp, and they saw, oh no one's here. And oh no, the dummies are all made. The people are all made out of straw. And then they turn, and the army, Arthur's army, is coming in the dark.
So
and
cool.
It's pitch black, and you just see the wave of gray shapes. So your note about scenes in the dark, doesn't always work in Game of Thrones, especially when you're throwing however many $1 million at an episode. But this one tiny little moment in this movie where it cuts back like 3 times. Great.
So cool.
Yes.
Oh, man. Which another film that I feel you could have dropped in the da 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 da.
Yes, right? You know what? Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's make this another segment. For those of you who don't know, that the piece of music Mario is referencing is the 007 theme. This is not the one you think it is. That's the James Bond theme. This is the 007 theme. And it is a happy, jaunty piece of music.
Yeah, which if you want to hear it for yourself, like on Spotify, the only record I know it's on is the Thunderball record.
Yes, and I think it's on the Moonraker one, because I think that was the last time it was used. I think it's used in the boat chase in that movie.
Is it? Okay.
When Jaws drives off he rips the steering wheel off the boat, and the boat goes off the cliff.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that is the last time they used it, huh?
I think it is. But anyway, I'll drop it in here. So the segment should be, where in each movie would the 007 theme fit best?
Can it 007? Oh, we can do that.
Can it 007?
There we go.
Can it 007?
Can it 007?
Yeah, sure. No. Stop talking. Can it?
Yeah.
Oh, can it 007? Which actually, last week, rewatched Majesties again. The opening scene is Q going like, all right, radioactive lint, that's where it's at. And M just brushes him off, which that would be, can it, Q?
Poor Q.
Sir, I've just made these pickles. What should I do with them? Oh, can it 007? Yes, good idea. What about the tomato sauce? So yeah, I like where in each movie would the 007 theme fit. So yes.
What should I do with all these extra screws I have? Can it 007? More importantly,
here's my coffee can.
It's called a coffee can. Something we're making for the Americans.
I don't know if you listened to the shout out to the James Bond and Friends podcast. I think that's where it was. But they made the note of in the Living Daylights, why the Ghetto Blaster, why wasn't it called the Boombox? That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
Because Ghetto Blaster is a very specific pun. But I think boombox may have been more universal of a term.
I think it was more hip at the time to say Ghetto Blaster.
And it would be funnier to see Q say the word ghetto.
Ghetto.
Very ghetto 007. My peeps. I'll end there.
My peeps.
my peeps down at MI6. My homie down in Station Q.
Don't call it a comeback, 007. I've been here for years.
Oh, slap.
That's what.
Did I get that right, 007? So yeah, I like that. Let's do in each movie where the 007 theme would fit in best, and that's that jaunty piece of music. So yeah, it would definitely work as the horses ride into the camp, which that battle was great.
That and the final battle are my favorites.
Oh yes. A note about that final battle. Somebody out there, please, with the ability
take all of the moments where Lancelot fights Maligant and lightsaber it up.
Yes.
Thank you. Because, man, Richard Gere's swordplay in this movie was phenomenal.
Again, like surprising he's like not in anything else. Like, man, I mean, bring it back to Star Wars again, man. He could have been a Jedi. He could have been.
He should have been Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
I love Liam Neeson, but he would have made a good Qui-Gon.
If not Qui-Gon, like, I don't know if maybe if.
Why Ron?
Yeah, there's something.
L. Ron Hubbard.
What?
What?
Oh yes, Jedi Master.
Master L. Ron Hubbard.
Aaron Skywalker.
But yes, his swordplay is fantastic.
Yeah,
in this.
he's
and as is Ben Cross, who holds his own for sure against him. There's a moment where they start fighting and they get separated from each other, and when they see each other again, it's like the crowd parts and they see each other, and it was very much reminded me of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
When Batman finally sees Bane in the crowd, it's kind of just bland, just people kind of fighting, and then the crowd parts, but it's not organized, and he sees Bane there. Also, speaking of the crowd parting, half an hour in, that's when we meet Connery, and his entrance is fantastic. And that parting of the line of people, wow, so cool.
Can I gotta say, in my notes, tears of joy. I teared up a little bit.
Really?
Because again, this is the first time I've seen it in a while.
Which is also what she says.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you want to send a message back home?" She's like, "Well, look at you. You already know what I want.
Yeah.
Tell them I got here with tears of joy." That's what she says.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but sorry.
Yeah. So again, I haven't seen this in many years, and definitely haven't seen it since he's passed away. And I forget about this scene. I forget that this is how he comes in. Just when it parts and he's standing there and starts to walk down, and you get more focus on his face. I'm like, wow, man, that's fucking Sean Connery, dude. Like,
and you can't see him because he's far away, but it's
yeah.
him.
But when he gets closer, then it's like there he is. There's the iconic beard. This like the look, charming.
He looks great in this movie.
He looks so good. And he's how old? We said like 60s, 50s.
So 30. He was 64.
So he
actually, yes, it was at the exact halfway point between then and Dr. No.
There it is.
Wow, that's crazy.
Look at that.
Yep, 64. He would have been 64, and he looks great, and he's so good in this movie.
So good, and so again charming, and just
very charming,
and just his. I would like to hear the backstory of like other choices they had for King Arthur, and if Connery was the top of the list, and they said yes, we got him, like nobody else. Called back. Like I can't see anybody else doing it now after seeing this.
No.
It's like he was built
other
for
big
this
actors at the time.
For this,
maybe.
yeah, he was like built for this part, and fantastic. Part of me wishes this was his final film because of just how.
What do we get after this? So, out of curiosity, if this was his final film, what would we be robbed of?
Trying to think.
First night. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more films after this. Dragonheart, The Rock, The Avengers, Playing by Heart, Entrapment, Finding Forrester, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and Sir Billy. And then we have that Ever to Excel film where he's the narrator, but we'll get to that.
So probably so I guess he'd be bummed out about The Rock because a lot of people consider that to be like his final Bond film in some ways.
Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah,
I've heard it's Michael Bay's best.
Yeah, so
Dragonheart looks really fun, so I'm interested to see it, and I guess I'd be sad to lose the concept of Connery voicing a dragon.
Yeah.
And then I was actually talking with a coworker the other day, and I was discussing that we were doing this podcast, and he said, "Have you watched Entrapment yet?" And he said that was very good.
Mm.
So
what year is that?
99. I'm just looking at our list right now on the Connery Curious Google Sheets page. And then Finding Forrester, I've heard good things about.
Same.
So, I mean, if that was his final role, I think we'd be robbed of some good stuff.
I think so.
Potentially. But again, I haven't seen these to back it up, but
I'll have to come back to that for sure.
and it would kind of be fitting because spoilers, he dies at the end of this movie.
Yes. Because
Which I did have a note on. Connery is very good at playing dead.
yeah, just him with his eyes closed. No, not
open.
open. I mean,
Yeah,
and
he dies with the eyes open. He makes that choice.
yeah, and so like interesting to see, and like very rarely, at least nowadays, you never really get to see the body dead, and he just looks great even on the bale of hay before they send him off to the waters.
A note I had on that, as they send him out on the water, it's they dwell on some shots. And as, after about a minute of dwelling, I'm like, somebody better light a goddamn arrow and fire it onto that bale of hay. God damn it. And then 20 more minutes of lingering, and it finally happened. I'm like, good. Okay, that's now we've ended the movie properly. He's on fire now.
I think another cut we should do is him floating away, and then we cut to the Avengers at the end of Endgame at Tony Stark's funeral.
Right?
And they're all there for Connery.
And to bring back the Van Helsing thing, it's the moment where Kate Beckinsale's in the clouds at the end of the movie when they're lighting her corpse on fire.
The ultimate crossover.
Yeah, you know what? We'll just do that. We'll take all the funeral scenes and just put them together. Every funeral that's on like near water where the clouds are nice.
That's the multiverse of sadness.
The sulky verse of sadness. That's great.
It's like just
that was beautiful.
2 hours and 45 minutes of sad scenes from iconic films.
There's not one moment of levity. This might as well be The Wall.
Oh man! But anyway, let's get back to
where are
so
we at
Connery
now?
has arrived. King Arthur himself.
Yes, and then Lancelot shows up in Camelot
Yes.
afterwards and successfully navigates the gauntlet, which was awesome. We get the hand kissing scene, and Arthur is really impressed by him at this point. He's like, I'm gonna offer him a job because this dude is a loose cannon. He's got a good heart, but nowhere that he knows he's going. He's got no home, and it's a pity to let a talent like this just kind of wither and die out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to put him to work here on being a knight at my round table.
The ultimate booking right there.
Yeah, right? And he turns it down, right? Did he? No, he doesn't turn it down. Ooh, sorry.
So we get the first round table scene.
Oh yes, no, he yes. Forgive me. He doesn't offer him the job there. He just kind of says, "You're a guy who fears nothing, so you must love nothing." Anyway, so after that is the kidnapping. That was a really fun kidnap scene.
Oh, the boat scene.
Yes, very clever. She's called out of her chambers. Lady Guinevere, Jacob is here from your hometown of Lioness with news. And she comes down to the boat. Jacob, what is it? And he's kind of hunched over in a robe. And surprise, it's one of Maligan's goons. And that boat is on a rope. And they start yanking the boat back with her on it. And there's a bunch of dudes in the water. And they come up with their bow slingshot gun things. And it's a good one. That's really good. And Richard Gere sees it happening, and he jumps in the water and grabs.
Is so cool.
That was great. Yes.
Oh man, like he just like I got it. Like he's almost like a James Bond. It's like he just took off. I can compare this to World Is Not Enough with that boat chase of him just launching himself into the water.
A lot, Lancelot.
A lot, Lancelot. Oh man.
Yes, that was a great action scene. I really enjoyed that. What my note is kidnap boat with 3 exclamation points because it surprised me so much. And also, after she is rescued and she comes back and there's a scene where Connery, he turns around and she runs into the room with a big white robe on that's like covered, like a big blanket-esque robe that's like keeping her warm, and you never really see her face. And she comes in and hugs him, and Connery goes, "Oh, thank God you're alive." But because she's like huddled inside this robe, I wanted to be like, surprise! And someone kidnaps him and then they yank them back. Like, no, I fell for it.
Fell for the old rape trip again.
And this one was a rope trick.
The old rope trick. A lot of tricks.
Rape trick and rope trick.
I always get those two mixed up. It's one letter. Half a time.
Both are bad. But tricks are always bad unless they're followed by a treat. In Camelot, we believe in Halloween.
They say tricks are for kids.
I say I'll take them wherever I damn well please. I'll eat whatever cereal I want. What good's being a king if you can't sing? What's good being a king if you can't eat tricks? What else? What other notes do I have here? Oh, so after she's kidnapped, she's taken to Maligant's lair, which I loved. That castle with the oubliette. Oh man. What a prison! What a way to imprison someone, just on the other side of a pit.
Yeah.
And the escaping action scene where Richard Gere comes in was fantastic. I really liked how he's approaching the castle and he sees that the coast is clear and he's like, it's not clear. And he's like, I'm here. You come out. It's okay. I'm unarmed. And he just lets them take him prisoner.
Genius.
Very good stuff.
A Bond moment, if you will.
Right? And there's little hints of wisdom, which are also very Bondian. They're not like useful or correct wisdom in any sense, but the way that it's just a little thing that gets used. He goes, if the water can escape, so can we. Like little things like that, for just following the flow of water.
Yes.
So yes, I love the oubliette. Other notes I have: Little Lancelot wig and flashback. The flashback was very corny, but the wig was worse. The kid wearing the long-haired wig, like it was like if.
It reminded me of like the flashback in the Joe Dirt movie.
Right? Yes, exactly. I was thinking that, or like MacGruber or something. Like it cuts back and it's just that hair. It's the same hair. You know, like Marge Simpson still has the tall hair when she's 8. You know?
Oh, genius.
Slow-mo almost kiss after he rescues her. They almost kiss and it's in slow-mo and it's awkward. Ooh, a good quote. I wanna pull this for our Connery quotes.
Ooh.
Sean says.
Sean says.
Welcome back to Sean says. At an hour and 20 minutes into the movie, he goes, "I take the good and the bad together." I like that. I like that because that's what we're doing with this podcast.
Yes.
Because we don't know what we're in for. We've seen 2 good movies.
Yeah, so far,
but you know we're in for some bad ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know we are. And that's maybe we're going to use that soundbite somewhere. I take the good and the bad together.
Yeah.
Because that's what he chooses for roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. He takes the good and the bad together. During the wedding, the petals that are thrown by one of the little flower girls look like cheddar chips. like Pringles or something, but like the dyed with the cheap orange cheese, you know.
I swear to God, I had cheddar Pringles here on my.
That was the whole food at the reception. Where'd they go?
Where are my Pringles?
And they're walking out of the wedding. Crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, damn it! There they are. This was all I wanted for my wedding day was Pringles.
I'm so disappointed.
I didn't care about the dress. I didn't care about the DJ. I didn't even care about the venue. I just wanted the Pringles.
Sean Connery's Pringles.
But her stupid niece was throwing the Pringles. The kiss. Holy cow, the kiss. So I'm skipping ahead a bit, I guess. Oh yeah, so after the horror of battle, Lancelot comes in and he's like, I can't do this anymore. This is brutal, and I'm gonna go back out on the road. And that's when she admits her feelings for him, and she says, "Can I ask for the kiss now?"
I like that. I did enjoy that scene.
Yeah, that was good. And when they get into it, they get into it.
Yeah.
It is a passionate kiss.
Walked,
And then Connery opens the door. Whoa! And I will say that his reaction looks like he's about to poop. Like he's really holding it in. And this was not what he needed. As he was going to say, I've got a roast on the oven. Can you watch it while I poop? And that's so he's got the roast to worry about. He's got his shit. and I'll add farts to that scene. So now he sees this. He sees his wife's cheating on him, and he sees the first thoughts that goes through his brain. He goes, "Oh no, that roast is gonna burn."
The oven is so far away. It's on the other side of the castle. I only here to tell you I had to poop, and this happens.
And the bathroom is on the other side of the castle. At least the one with the bidet. You can't expect a king to use any less. You could use the regular one that's right next to the kitchen. But he had to use the bidet. He just had
Why
to.
couldn't he ask somebody else to There's nobody else. He's the king of Camelot.
Steve, watch the roast.
I gotta take a poop.
I've got to take a big shit.
Oh, man. Oh, poop jokes will never not be funny, no matter how old you are.
A quality poop joke.
High class poop joke. He
So, yeah,
fell
I'll
for the
add-
old
I'll add-
poop joke again.
That's 3. The old poop trick.
Why don't you turn around and see what I have for you?
I'll add farts to that video, to his reaction. Mario looks like he is catching his breath so that he continues to live.
That was so unexpected. Anyways.
Now I'll transition out of that scene by saying that the transition out of that scene is one of my favorite transitions ever, because it's him turning, like, it's the face, he's like, he's got a poop and he left the roast in, but it cuts from his eye, and then his eye goes like on fire to indicate rage, and that fire is the fire in the center of the round table. The transition is amazing. It's a beautiful crossfade.
Oh, yes.
I'll take a screenshot of it.
Yeah, man, that's the round table is fucking dope.
Is the podcast over now?
I feel like
Did I end it? I didn't mean to.
Anyways, how about that, James? I think I'm still healing.
How about that? What?
Rewind. Where were we?
So the kiss. Connery discovers it. That transition. The transition out of that scene. Connery's eye it's just fantastic. I love that transition out of it. My next note is crowds. The crowds in this movie are insane, just like the last movie. Both of these films that we've started with are just
What
full of extras, full of crowds.
was the budget for this?
See right now, 55 million, and box office was 127 million.
Oh, okay.
So 55 million.
Oh, see, I read somewhere else that like they only made like 50 million, so that must have been the wrong post there. That makes more sense because like I'm still shocked that this film wasn't as well received as we'd hope. I guess So I'm curious to see more reviews on this.
Yeah, I'll do some digging on reviews of that. I definitely I enjoyed it a lot. Now, okay, so I'm reading director Jerry Zucker. It was his follow-up to Ghost.
Really?
I did not realize he directed Ghost.
That's interesting.
Jerry Zucker has directed. He wrote Kentucky Fried Movie, directed Airplane, Top Secret, Ruthless People, wrote Naked Gun, directed Ghost, First Night, and Rat Race. And that was his last movie.
Wow, and Rat Race is in that.
Something's going on upstairs. Wait, who did Scary Movie 3? Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker. Forgive me, riveting podcasting. Okay, yeah, Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker. David Zucker did Scary Movie 3 and 4.
Okay.
And Jerry Zucker. And brothers David and Jerry. Okay. Just doing a little background work. A professional podcast would come to with all that information, but I think this is a nice laid back, easygoing.
Exactly.
Sean Connery podcast. So much so it took me a little bit to finish that.
I'm sure when they're going to be the Bond episodes come, it's going to be like the 4-hour podcast of just like.
Oh, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Absolutely.
What else? So another note I have here is there's no reason to see Maligan's side. There's never a moment in the movie. I think that may be one reason why maybe it doesn't have a great review. People hold Infinity War and movie something like that because Thanos is a great villain and you kind of see his side on things. I'm not saying he's right, but you understand it. And if your villain has a cause that you can't get behind it morally, and in your brain you're just not going to, but you can understand why the character would and why other characters would follow that character. That's how the best villains are written. A great villain has a motivation that you can understand, you can kind of relate to it, and you can totally understand how others would completely relate to it and follow it. And Maligant is not given that at all. It's just that Maligant has gone rogue from... I don't even think the opening paragraph sets it up. He's just gone rogue from the Arthur's knights.
Yeah, because you don't realize that till he enters the round table and he puts his sword down. He's like, I see my spot's still not taken.
Yeah, but you don't really know why. And he's like, you left of your own accord, but we never find out why.
Yeah, so like... If this was made these days, we would have like a 9-episode miniseries on Maligan, just of like leading up to the first night.
Well, where it should have come in was when Lancelot infiltrates Maligan's castle, and he lets himself get captured and brought to Maligan, and Maligan is just sitting eating dinner, and he's like, he's got a message for the queen. He wants to see that she's unharmed, and that's it. Go bring him to her. I'm going to finish my food. That's when you sit Lancelot down and let him have a conversation with the villain. And then you see why Maligan does it, and let him play out something and be like, yeah, you're all buddy-buddy with the king right now, but Arthur, don't trust Arthur. You know what I mean? Where was that scene? And then he sends him to go see Guinevere.
Very again, the parallels with Star Wars. Like, holy shit, that's classic Star Wars right there. Just turning onto the dark side, all that.
Or even Dooku talking to Obi-Wan as he's floating there.
Yeah.
We don't understand entirely what's going on,
but we start to get, okay, Dooku is, we don't really know he's our villain, but you can tell because it's Christopher Lee. And you kind of go, okay, something's up here, and he might be right. He's like, there's a Sith Lord in the Sender's being controlled by a Sith Lord. He's like, okay, well, if this is what he believes and he's rallying people to his cause under this belief, then I can get behind that. I get it. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing like that for Malagant. I'd like one scene, and that's where it should have been, when Lancelot, before he gets to see Guinevere in the oubliette prison, he should sit down while Malagant is rudely eating food, but still explains why he went rogue. And
absolutely,
maybe it could set up and then have that set up. Malagant can be like, yeah, you're friends with him now, but he can be fickle and emotionally unstable, which further sets up consequences if they get caught being in love. You know, it can, and when he's putting his own wife on trial, he's like, God forgive me for what I'm about to do. You know, it will frame it a little more. He's like, okay, so he reacts irrationally. He's emotionally unstable at times. And we've learned that from Malagant. But that scene is never there. But the trial at the end is a good setup because he has been thrown off emotionally by something within his own kingdom, and now he would have been prepared for that attack if he wasn't busy putting his wife and Lancelot on trial. Guinevere, excuse me.
Yeah, wow. Makes you wonder if there's any like deleted scenes that didn't make the cut. You know, I wonder if there was more. What if they had like a full 2 hours and 30 minutes? You know, you wonder.
So the DVD that I have right now is literally just the movie, not even a theatrical trailer. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if there were some deleted scenes for that. The next note I have, Dominus Deo. Excuse me, that took a lot out of my voice. That is the choir singing while Lancelot and Malagant are sword fighting. Please put lightsabers to that, please.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very clearly just a chorus going Dominus Deo, and it's kind of awesome. Because never in the score before this are there words. It's a very traditional, kind of plain score. A little bit of John Williams-esque in there, but who does the score? Is it Jerry Goldsmith? Music by Jerry Goldsmith, who does amazing scores.
Yeah, it definitely had like had a real period to every scene. It seemed like that was always, every transition to a scene had that kind of score in there, which was interesting. And I feel like you don't get nowadays in a way.
It was a very nice score, and just looking at Jerry Goldsmith's work, he's done some amazing work. Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes, Gremlins, Poltergeist, Alien, Total Recall, L.A. Confidential, Mulan, The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser, The Mummy, one of my favorites. So he's done some great work, but I don't think this holds up amongst that. I think this was a kind of a work for hire. I mean, it's great music, but the only piece that really stood out to me was the Dominus, because it's the only one where there's vocals, and it is obvious and hilarious.
Yes.
Especially because it is the villain versus the hero, the final climax. Dominus. Next note, please put lightsabers. Next note after that, Phantom Menace effect. Malagant is killed, and then all of his soldiers just retreat, and find like the battle is kind of neutral in the background. Like the citizens of Camelot are kind of getting their asses handed to them, but it's kind of evenly matched. because we're just focusing on our hero. We're just focusing on Lancelot fighting Maligan, and when Maligan dies, I feel like all of his Camelot just suddenly is winning.
Yeah.
And so Desa all shut down. I forget what the line is.
Oh, I forget too.
But it's that effect when you kill the main boss, all his henchmen.
The Star Wars effect. It's like once the ship is taken down, all the droids shut off.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace effect. That's how I have it.
Phantom
Menace
okay,
effect. Well, because that's the only one it really happens in. But you see it happen in film all the time, especially in video games.
Yeah, video games freaking. They just did it in Black Adam. Same thing where there's like, one main source of power and these lifeless henchmen, and they all just kind of in the middle of like while the citizens are fighting off these monsters, they just all drop like Andy's toys, just like boop. And like, that was easy. Why would we just do that first?
You gotta kill the what is it, Independence Day I think does the same thing. Am I wrong?
I think so.
But it's a convention of film for sure, and this one does it 4 years before Phantom Menace. And that's the end of my notes. Connery good at playing dead, and Funeral Pyre Arrow. That's the end of my notes there.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Very simple plot, very simple movie. I no real we have a couple of little tiny critiques, but I think all in all, I think really good. We talked about last episode of how Connery was post Bond, and this is several years after that too. So do you agree with the statement? This is definitely the golden age of Connery here, or
let me look. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. I've never heard of A Good Man in Africa. I've never seen Just Cause. I've never seen Rising Sun, Medicine Man. I don't think I've seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So I can't say. I've never seen The Rock. I can't say that this is Pete Connery. So for me, Pete Connery might be, during the Bond period. But I'm also looking forward to maybe just gravitating, because ultimately Bond was only 10% of his filmography, less than that. So I'm looking forward to branching out, and maybe not. I'd say that was probably peak in the 60s was peak Connery, just because of the amount of work he was getting. Like if you go to our list here, in the 60s, so let's give a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 16 films in the 70s. Or I'm sorry, in the 60s. In the 60s, he did 16 films. And if we're going by the 90s, 14. So even, but I don't know. I'm not sure if this is Pete Connery in terms of his acting.
Yeah, that's
he's very refined.
That's what I'm hitting at, because again, tracking back to last week, we did talk about how we felt that Connery was feeling himself at that point where where
he was acting with his best friend.
Yeah, and so you wonder, how did that evolve from there? Because again, when we analyze the Bond movies, we will analyze what his life was like around that time. But looking at this, when I think of older Sean Connery and some of the more critically acclaimed things outside of Bond, I think of this movie, think of The Rock, and think of Hunt for Red October, stuff like that. Older seasoned Bond. I mean, even Indiana Jones. What a that's Bond in his peak, and that's before this even. So it's just it's interesting to see more depth into what he's like as an older gentleman, and I'm curious to hit these older films after this, like those last 3 films or so. Like what was it like towards the very end? It's very interesting.
I feel like in this film he's bringing his A game because he's working with attractive young actors. They're not young, but they're like I'm sure Richard Gere reminded him a lot of himself. And Julia Goldman, did I say that right?
That must be it.
Julia Ormand, excuse me, Julia Ormand.
What experience!
Excellent actress,
though.
bringing her A game. Everyone's bringing their A game, and I think Connery was just inspired by that.
I think Connery inspired them. I'm sure. Like they probably thought, "Wow, I'm going to be in a film with Sean Connery.
I better bring.
I got to make it good." Like with the very small resume that Richard Gere seems to have,
not very small, just very small in terms of like cultural reach.
Yeah.
I think.
But just seeing his performance in that, I feel like that's kind of a good way to kind of kick your ass a little bit into like killing it. And like, because when I first think of this movie, you think that Connor's going to be the main focus. Yeah, he's there, but Richard Gere steals the show a ton.
Yeah, he's the star.
Yeah.
He's the star of the movie for sure. Connery he's first billed. But yeah, this is Richard Gere's film.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic in this film. I'd say 9 because we ranked it already. I'd say he's a 9. Because he's bringing real charm, and he's a joy to watch. If he was in it maybe a little bit more, and maybe had a little bit more agency. But I get it. He's an older character. I think the thing keeping it from being a 10 was the delivery of the why, because it was just so big of a moment, and it didn't feel like Connery believed it.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking with my rating of a 9 for Connery. What do we want to get into ranking this movie?
I think it's about that time of the evening.
Yeah. What would you want to give it out of 10?
I think I'm leaning 8.5. Only because, I think for what it is, great film, enjoyable, but like kind of leaning back to what you were saying about the Malikan story, I think you can add an extra 20 minutes to this film. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, let it end already. Like even.
Well, I think rather than adding 20 minutes,
cutting some stuff,
I would do some replacing, reorganizing.
Yeah, I like your thought of the cutting out that attack on the village in the beginning. I think that's definitely something you could kind of pull out, or at least cut in half.
Cut out the scrolling text.
Yeah, take that out, and
that whole opening with the burning of the village. Excuse me, it's not the opening; it's the third scene. But with the credits coming over it, if it were to be edited, it would be weird because you'd get the incomplete credits. I would take that whole scene out because all those credits are featured at the end. It's not like a 60s film where all the credits are featured up front. But yeah, some recalibration, some shifting around of things, I think would make this a stronger film. So you're going with 8.5?
8.5.
You locking it in?
Yes.
I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm giving it an 8. I think it would be. Yeah, I think Richard Gere was charming as hell. I think Julia Ormond was charming as hell. Sean Connery was fantastic in it. 9 for me on the Connery scale. Minus 2 points for some of the editing and sequencing. Some of the editing is fantastic, as I said, that transition from Connery's angry eye to the fire in the center of the round table. because and metaphor. It's a good symbolic transition too, because it's at the heart of his kingdom, which is the center of the round table. He just got affected to his core. But I think minus a couple points, or minus 1 point for the editing and sequencing of some scenes that could have gone, and then 1 point for just a villain that is not very compelling. Yeah.
So
Good villain. He's good. The performance by Ben Cross is great, but compelling he is not.
So
that was my Connery as Yoda. Compelling he is not.
Compelling he is not. Camelot. I just love seeing him say Camelot. It's
the heart of
Camelot. Anyways, but yeah, man.
What did he just say?
He just stroked out a little bit. I think the holding the poop in just was. He just passes out.
The roast is gonna burn. No one understands me.
He should have had the fire in his eyes be the fire from the roast on the oven.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's just the oven is on fire.
Why did nobody put this out?
But
man, I think that's gonna do it for first night. We got through it. Our second film.
Indeed. So to recap, first night, you gave it an 8.5.
Yes.
I gave it an 8 on the film scale. On the Connery scale, we both gave it a 9.
Yes. On the same level here.
Before we move forward, do you mind if I take a Sean Connery?
Take a Sean Connery P. We'll cut it.
And rather than doing some no, let's not cut. I'll only be a minute. You go ahead and do some talking. We'll spin the wheel when I get back, but just do some talking, cover some grounds. If you want to spit some ideas, for example, I had an idea before I go that maybe we can do a small segment of like where was Connery personally in his life, what was going on at the time of said film. Now I'm gonna pee.
Go pee.
But go ahead and give the audience some vampire.
All right, audience. Some vampire? What did he say? Am I gonna suck y'all's blood or something? I don't know. But anyways, man, yeah, this has been so much fun so far. By the way, guys, we're having a lot of fun with this, rediscovering Connery in a way we never thought we would. Let us know how we're doing, man, because this is a lot of fun. What else do you guys want to see? We got some cool stuff coming up ahead involving the show. So we're hoping this is gonna get somewhere cool. So thanks for that. Yeah, this is really good. What Dylan said too is kind of like, we got to see first if this is the golden age. But I personally think this might be golden age Connery. I think this is really a cool point in his life. Obviously, he'll always be known as James Bond, but it's cool to see what life was like here. But man, fantastic. Full Connery. Oh, here he is.
Alrighty, I have returned. Have I missed anything pertinent?
I would just talked very badly about you. No, I was thanking the audience for so far with the support here. Hoping that everyone's liking the show, and we're on the socials now, so you guys can let us know.
And we're gonna keep doing this whether you like it or not.
So like, either way, it's like you guys either you love us or you hate us, but we'll always be here.
I'll take the good with the bad together.
My favorite Connery quote actually is
from this movie.
No, in general, it's from Rush with Love, the video game, and it's the beginning scene. It's like one of the first lines he says in the game.
After the jetpack, or
right before the jetpack? I think it starts the game. It's one of the greatest game starting quotes of all time. There's a guy with a machine gun, and he's like,
"War never changes."
It's almost to that effect. And you just hear the guy with a machine gun. It's like the big Russian guy. The game is over, Mr. Bond. And he goes, "Actually, it's just begun." And he looks at the camera, and it fades in, and the gameplay begins. It's my favorite Connery moment of all time. We'll have to splice it in so you guys can hear it.
I have that game too. I need to replay it.
It's the first line, and that game's a lot of fun. So like that's, I would like to believe that was his final performance, man. Like he was James Bond one more time, and like that was really cool. Obviously, it sounds really different to hear his old voice.
Sir Billy.
It's still Sir Billy, which that is. I'm kind of fingers crossed that we're gonna hit this on the wheel in a few minutes because I've been so curious, so Connery curious about that.
Connery curious.
That's why we're so curious.
my sister has my PlayStation 2. I'll have to go over there and play From Russia with Love.
Do it.
Yeah, because I definitely have it. I remember loving that game when I was a kid.
I remember I did a stream on my Twitch a while back, and I did like a Bond month. I think we were getting ready for No Time to Die, but it was getting canceled so many times, so it ended up being worthless. But we got it almost a year later. But we played all the Bond games, and then we did From Russia with Love. And usually, I like if I do a game playthrough, I try to split the 2 streams, maybe 3. I did a 17-hour stream. Uninterrupted. A few bathroom breaks here and there. Maybe not 17
What were you
hours.
playing?
It was From Rush with Love. It was from
wow.
beginning to end because I was like, it was the first time I replayed it after so many years. Maybe it may have been 7 hours. 17 sounds close to. But
I didn't sleep.
But we did that entire from like early in the afternoon to like the evening. And
you did all the Bond games?
Just From Rush with Love. Just that one. The other ones we split in half, which I love the other ones too, of course. You know, Nightfire is a personal favorite. That was like around Die Another Day was coming out, I remember.
I haven't played many of them.
That might be something.
You let me borrow the Quantum of Solace game, which I kind of enjoyed. I'm not a video game person all that much. I've been playing Fallout a bunch recently, but it's just an old favorite, and it's like familiar mechanics.
I think that could be a bonus thing for our audience here. Maybe we can do some gameplay of us playing Bond games together, so you can experience them. Yeah, I think it's like it's a lot of fun. It's interesting.
Yeah, and if we're gonna do things that are more Bond focused outside of the episodes, what is flashing behind you?
Oh, it's my little hexagon things.
No, to the other side.
This side?
Oh, is it the light reflecting off that? It's the reflecting off that. Okay, forgive me.
Too many lights in here.
Again, riveting podcasting.
Riveting audio podcasting. But look at these lights.
But if we do more Bond stuff outside of these films, let's do it as bonus episodes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so that way we can be free reign and not have to worry about, okay, we're talking about, let me pick a random movie here. We're talking about the Molly Maguires, and we can't stop talking about Bond.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. You guys let us know in the audience, like, if you guys want to see, like, video content, we could do, like, we can move, Curious Podcasts over to video form, Twitch, something like that,
Yeah. Like and if I'm completely wrong and you guys don't mind us talking about Bond in every episode, just say that. Say, we want more. And we'll be like, no, this is a Connery podcast. But crash.
And again, you can let us know. So I'll mention this at this time. You probably know this. We'll probably have some kind of pre-recorded thing in the beginning. But we are at CuriousPod007 over on Twitter right now. If you guys want to follow us there for all kinds of other updates on when we're putting out episodes and stuff like that. But also use that platform to let us know how we're doing and what else you guys want to hear from us.
Yes, and should I share the idea I shared with you earlier today on the air? That little list I sent you?
Yeah, like let's see. Let's put the idea out. I think we talked about it in episode 0, didn't we?
Yes, I think we did, but let's just tell them a little bit more. So I had ventured because we do keep coming back to Bond. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, we do keep coming back to Bond, so we should cover the filmography after this. Will take us about a year and a half to go through all the Connery's films, but after that, I was thinking maybe we do. So our first season is Connery Curious. Then should we continue, we'll be doing more movies. Then after that, we'll be digging into Dalton. And after that, we'll be looking back at the Brosnan backlog.
Which I'm the most excited for.
Really?
Yeah, because I think I mentioned you on the on our text.
Oh, yes, on the same text.
Yeah,
yes.
where like on my other podcast, Friggin' Nerds podcast, we play a game called Movie ID. And we all take turns hosting each week, and so I hosted. So the point of Movie ID is, say me and you on our team, we get a movie title, and we have to. It's kind of like password, where I have to give you a certain word, and you have to guess what the movie is. So but you can bet on how many words you get. Like say, like the other team, like
okay, let's do a round.
Want to do a round?
Let's do a round.
I have a film in my head.
Okay. Also, let me just finish this out. The Brosnan backlog. Then we get Curious again with Craig.
Mm.
And then for our bonus season, the Lazenby list.
The Lazenby list. That's going to be an
The
interesting.
Lazenby list. Okay, let's play
All
the
right,
game.
this is an exclusive movie ID over on Connery Curious. So okay, it's kind of it's kind of different with two people. But for example, say we had, so say I would say like, oh wait, you can bet how many words you can do it in. I'll say I can do it in 4. The other guy could go, I could do it in 3.
Yes,
I can match all that. So just because I'm wearing a Fantastic Four shirt, we'll start it at 4 words.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a movie, and I guess we'll do it. And it's funny because you can also like do like different topics. So what I did this past week was Pierce Brosnan movies. So like I gave them like Black Adam, I gave them November Man, and GoldenEye and stuff, and Mrs. Doubtfire. So it was fun to get them to guess those. And they figured out at the end, oh, it's all Pierce Brosnan. So okay.
Oh, so you're going to name movies?
So I'm going to give you hints, and you got to guess what movie it is.
Okay.
So we'll do an easy one here. We'll do 4 words. I'll give you Vegas, Gems, Sheriff, Slot Machine.
Diamonds
Are Forever. There you go. So that's like,
who's the sheriff in that movie?
there's that one sheriff. It's not W. Pepper, but it's like, you dirty bastard. That kind of guy. That's when he's in the Mustang. Huh? Like that was like kind of a,
okay. I dig it.
So yeah, so you get like
it.
little guests like that. So that might be a game to bring if when we have guests in the future.
All right. Let's
I got a whole thing of Friggin' Nerds podcast games we could play on this. That would totally translate well to this podcast.
Okay. All right. I'm coming up with one now.
All right, there we go. You got one for me. Let's go down to 3 words this round.
Okay. Blimp, Nazi, Latin.
Is it Last Crusade?
It
okay.
Is. Okay, this is fun. I like this.
You could have gave me A View to a Kill. I don't know if we're going Bond movies or just Connery films.
Blimp and Nazi.
But, Nazi. When you got Nazi, I'm like, oh,
once I said Latin.
Yeah, it was Latin. I was like, that's okay.
I was just using Connery movies as.
Yeah, let's do Connery movies. All right, let's do one more. I'm going to hit you with
two
more. Words.
Okay.
2 words. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. I'll make it easy. I guess I'll make it easy. Bank. Hat.
Bank hat?
I'll make it a little more challenging.
Are we going with Connery?
We're going to stick with Connery.
Is it the Anderson tapes?
No.
Bank hat.
I'll give you 2 more.
Oh, Goldfinger.
There you go. I want to give you golf, but that was too easy. Because I don't think he plays golf in any of the Bond movies, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, just that one right there.
That's fun. I like that.
So,
I like that. We'll do that more. Well, you know what? Maybe each episode we'll do a game of that. I'll come up. We each come up with one each week, and we'll.
There you go.
We'll do. We'll work on each other. It doesn't have to be Connery, but maybe a film that we each would know, but not instantly.
Yeah, it could work. But
Kylo, Chewbacca,
the Anderson tapes.
Yes.
But man, yeah. So I guess we can wrap it up here with the first night with our wheel spin here. You ready for the next wheel spin?
First night, I gave first night. I'm sorry, one more wrap up of that. I gave first night an 8. You gave it an 8.5. Yep. We both gave Connery a 9 in his performance. Alrighty.
I'll be in the Curious Archives.
Time for the wheel.
Wheel spin. I'm gonna hit the shuffle a couple times.
You spun it last week. I'll spin it this week.
Yeah, you hit it this week. Yes.
Alrighty. Can I share my screen?
We have a technology.
All right, can you see
I
it?
can see it. Yes.
Alrighty. Here we go. Sword of the Valiant.
Sword of the Valiant.
But I don't know if you see what is right below it.
What was under it?
How close we came.
Oh, Sir Bill was right there.
Sir Billy is right underneath it. But yes, next week's film will be Sword of the Valiant.
Going into the 80s for this one.
Yes. Let me scroll down to that. Sword of the Valiant, 1984. He plays the Green Knight. Which I haven't seen that
Another
film
King
either.
Arthur thing. How great is that?
Is a character from the 14th century Arthurian poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight and the related medieval work The Green Knight. His true name is revealed to be Bertilac de Haut Dessert. A hot dessert. Bread Bettle. Some name Bread Bettle. Okay, so yeah, another Arthurian film. That's really interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still sharing my screen.
It looks interesting too. It looks like from what I'm seeing, it looks a little more zany.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like he looks a little crazy as the Green Knight.
Oh, it does look interesting. Oh yeah, it's got a very old school sword and sorcery poster.
This is gonna be fun.
Yes. All right. Sword of the Valiant is a 1984 dramatic fantasy film. Directed by Stephen Weeks, starring Miles O'Keefe, Trevor Howard, Lila Kedrova, Cyrielle Clare, Lee Lawson, Peter Cushing.
What?
And Sean Connery.
Oh, and John Rhys Davies is in this too, from
Really?
Indiana Jones.
Oh, he is. Oh my gosh.
And from Lord of the Rings helm. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, he's going to be in a new indie, if you saw the trailer.
Which I still have not watched the trailer for that.
So
I will.
I shouldn't spoil that for you guys. A little bit of a surprise. But
The film is loosely based on the poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, written in late 14th century, but the narrative differs substantially. It was the second time Weeks had adapted the traditional tale into a film. His first effort was Gawain and the Green Knight. Huh.
insane. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So it's a remake of his own film.
Really?
I'm looking forward to this. Some sword and sorcery stuff with Sean Connery.
I think we talked about that too. Of like he never really got to do anything. He wasn't into the whole magical and fantasy thing. But look at this. I mean, this looks like totally fun. Like I am so curious to see how this Connery curious as always of this.
He's listed fourth in the credits, and I'm curious as to how much of a role he's going to play in this.
He looks like he's big in it. I'm just kind of hovering over the trailer, and he looks like he's like all over it.
Okay.
So I think
I'm excited for this.
I think this is going to be good. This is we've had a freaking killer couple of roles here so far, and nothing Bond yet, which is interesting.
And I'm fine with that.
So
Watch all the Bonds come at the end.
Let it cook for a little bit, man. Get excited.
Exactly. Let it simmer. I'm very excited for Sword of the Valiant. Tune in to next week's Connery Curious, episode 3.
Episode 3 already. Yeah, and if you guys want to watch along, we could probably, like, again, as Dylan always says, you check your local library, check your Amazon Prime, check.
Yes,
do
everywhere. Do that first. Support your local library.
Absolutely, and like you can find just about anything. So I'm curious to see where we can find this, and this is going to be a ton of fun.
Indeed. I will say I got Sword of the Valiant from my library.
Nice.
It's on my list of DVDs to check out. Libraries also kind of work in the way that Netflix still works, where you mail DVDs off a queue and whatnot, except my library is within walking distance, so I just go get them. But I realize not everyone's library is within walking distance, but still a good way to find these movies.
Absolutely.
So yeah, very excited for next week, The Sword of the Valiant. You're right, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
I think so. I have confidence in this. But yeah, guys, so thank you guys for joining us again. Again, you can hit us up over at CuriousPod007 over on Twitter, and we'll get all the updates on the next show and all that fun stuff. We got a lot of cool stuff hopefully planned for this, man. We got hopefully some cool guests. I'm in talks. We'll talk off air. got some potential Connery curiositors. Is that a word?
Oh, curious Connor. We'll come up with names.
Connorists.
Connorists. Some curious Connorists.
Curious Connorists. Beautiful.
You can also find us at reach us at connerycurious@gmail.com. We'll be opening an Instagram page soon, I think, as well.
Yeah,
we're
gonna try to keep it at CuriousPod007 because I was really bummed out. Curious Pod has been taken, I guess, on Twitter, so nobody took the 007, so that's always a fail-safe for me. That's how Tactical Panda 007 was made, because Tactical Panda was taken, and I was like, well, fuck it, we'll just put 007 at the end, and here we are.
Well, why don't we try the Curious Pod?
I tried that too. Didn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, geez.
Can you change your Twitter?
Yeah, you could change it anytime. So if it ever changes, you guys, we'll let you know. But like, yeah, I was kind of like, I tried everything from like, forward slashes and like underscores and like, yeah, I'm like, man, it's Curious Pod.
Do we want to just try Connery Curious Podcast?
We could try that.
Or Connery Curious Cast?
Could try that.
The coolest KKK there ever was.
The CCCs. But yeah, so if anything changes, as of right now, Curious Pod at CuriousPod007 on Twitter.
And ConneryCurious@gmail.com.
Honestly, you just search Connery Curious anywhere and you'll find it, even if you don't look at the actual tag. So we'll be there.
Or you may just find a lot of pictures of Connery in his Zardoz outfit.
Yes, which you'll probably get here too.
You'll get curious about that. That'll make you question. Yeah. Alrighty. So I think that's all I got. You good?
I think we're good. So guys, again, thank you for joining us. And as always, stay curious. I've been Mario Lima.
Stay curious, folks. I've been Dylan Titus.
Stay curious.
We'll see you next week for Sword of the Valiant.
Sword of the Valiant. Camelot.
Sword of the Valiant. Good night, everybody.
Connery Curious.
You've been listening to Connery Curious, a Titus Compositions and Friggin' Nerds media production. For more content, be sure to follow us on various forms of social media by searching Connery Curious. Be sure to rate and review the show wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.